Learning art fast. You don't have the time for waiting years to be able to pursue an art career. You want to improve as quickly as possible, right? Well, I got 5 tips for you busy people that can make you go from this to this, and this in not more than 1 month. I've been a full-time artist for 3 years now, and I paint and draw since I'm able to hold a pen, basically. So I managed to figure out the best ways to improve fast, and I want to share them with you. Okay, so my first tip is about analyzing everything. When I say everything, I mean it. Everything around you is an art lesson. If you observe really well the world surrounding you, then you will be able to apply the things you noticed in your everyday life to your future drawings and paintings. You know, the way light heats things, the way things reflect light, the trees, how they look from far away, the color they take when the sun goes down, etc, etc. When you start doing that, all of a sudden, you know exactly how, the trees, to take the same example, how the trees look like from distance, because you thought about it with your learning mind, because you analyzed it very well. Look at the world through the eyes of an artist, because the entire world is like a giant database of reference photos always available around you. So, analyzing your environment, very important. But most importantly, analyze what you do, your work. Because unfortunately, practicing a lot is not the insurance that you will learn. Not at all. You have to practice a lot, obviously, but there is a good way, an efficient way to practice. And the efficient way to practice is by always taking a closer look at your drawings and paintings to identify what you did right and what you did wrong. You made a drawing and you don't like it. It's bad. You hate it. So you get frustrated and you rage quit. You don't want to hear about it again. And the next day you start a completely different drawing with a completely different subject, or worse, you completely lose confidence and you don't want to draw anything for some time. Well, I think I'm not surprising you if I tell you that it's not the way to go. Hear me out on that. Making bad art is a good thing. For God's sake, making bad art is a good thing. Get that in your head, because you better make some mistakes if you want to improve, because there's so much to learn from them. But to learn from them, you have to take a step back and investigate your piece of work. Why don't you like it? What makes it bad? And most importantly, what should you have done to make it better? What can you do to fix it? And once you identified why you don't like it and how to fix it, then try to fix it. If it's a painting, there's always a way to paint over parts you don't like. Nothing is ever impossible to modify. So you can just work on it until you're satisfied with the result. But if it's a drawing and you can just draw over it, then redo it. Make the same drawing again. But this time you have in mind the mistakes you made because you identified them and you won't make them again. You can fix them. I know, if you're like me, just the idea of doing the same drawing again is exhausting, and I totally understand it. If you really don't feel like it, for your next drawing session, you can try to draw something similar without it being exactly the same thing. Because you identified your mistakes, you're not gonna make them again, you will improve. Just by doing that, you are improving. It's a good alternative for people who get bored by the idea of doing it again. But I guarantee if you do that, you are going to rush. My second tip is one that you should not skip at all. Work on the basics. The fundamental, the theory. You know, all the boring stuff, value, color theory, anatomy, that I actually don't find boring at all, because these things can be so helpful that it's a pleasure to learn, because I like to see art theory as things that you don't know and that you can't figure out by yourself. It's too difficult to figure out. But once you know them, you see directly how you can apply them in your drawings and paintings. Everything becomes much more easier instantly. You see an instant improvement. Let's take an example so you know what I mean. Did you know that the color of the shadows should be the opposite color to the color of the light? For example, in a landscape, when it's sunny, the light looks yellow, isn't it? So purple is complementary to yellow. So the shadows in your painting should be purple. Well, now that you know that, do you see how easy it is to apply this in your future paintings? These kind of things are what help me improve very fast, and I think it can help you too. Revising the basics is always helping when you have an issue with something. And there is never gonna be some point where you have learned everything about the basics. No one ever can. It's impossible. There's so much to know. There's always gonna be something you don't know. So never stop documenting yourself about all that stuff. And please use the internet for this, because there's literally an infinite amount of online resources available at any time for free. For free! So why not use them? It's there, it's free. Use it. Please. Something else you can do to boost your progress is challenging yourself. I personally started YouTube with a daily painting challenge, and it was so f***ing hard to stick to it. But I think it's the reason why today I'm able to create entirely new pieces. Before that, I was only capable of painting from references. And now I can create for real. And it's awesome being able to create. Tell me if you'd like a video about that, by the way, about how to create a brand new painting from your mind and not from references. Anyway, a daily painting challenge makes you practice a lot. And if you practice efficiently, like I told you before, you will see improvement very quickly. But there's other ways to challenge yourself. You can give yourself time restrictions, for example, to help you not focusing too much on detail. Or you can use only 1 or 2 colors to help you focus more on value. Challenging yourself in any way will be a very good method to practice, because it steps you out of your comfort zone. And staying in your comfort zone is the best way to learn nothing. So please don't do that to yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. If you find this video helpful, by the way, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Okay, so the next tip is to make small pieces. It's one of the best ways to improve fast, because creating small pieces allows you to practice way more than if you were only doing big paintings. You know what I mean? Imagine you take a huge canvas and you want to paint a landscape on it. But the canvas is so big that it would take you days or weeks, even months sometimes, it happens, only to solve one problem. Because painting is all about solving problems, I think. Well, there's a lot of problems to solve on a landscape, but you know, you're just gonna do this one single landscape in a very big amount of time. While you could have been doing the exact same painting, but on a smaller canvas in, I don't know, 5 hours, 10 hours maybe. And in the same amount of time as for the big one, you would have solved 10 times more problems, which means learning a lot faster. So yeah, it's better to spend more time practicing rather than creating one big piece. And by doing so, you will also experience more various subjects, which leads us to the next tip. Experiencing different subjects. It is very important, because if you always paint the same thing, for example, let's say you do landscape painting again, but you only paint seascapes. Eventually you will become super good at doing that. Seascapes will have no secret for you. But you may never discover that you love painting forests, or I don't know, clouds or portraits. And on top of that, you will never get better at all of this. Wow. When you will have painted several subjects, you will be better at everything, because the skills you gain painting one subject will always be useful for others. You will also be able to choose what you want to paint the most afterwards and what you never want to paint again because it doesn't interest you. But not because it scares you to try it because it looks difficult, but because you tried it and you know exactly what you like to do and what you don't like to do. Most of the time when someone doesn't want to try something, it's because it's out of their comfort zone. And like I said, staying in your comfort zone is the best way to learn nothing. Because once you know everything about seascapes, you will stop to learn anything, because there's nothing else to learn if you already know everything about that. So keep being curious about trying things you never tried. It will help you take a shortcut on your art journey. You can also try different styles to find your own, but I think finding your style comes after you master the technique. You know, if you want to express yourself, you have to be able to apply the basics, so it's important to study them well. And then you will be able to put your artistic touch onto it. Kind of like a musician, you know, they have to master the normal playing of an instrument, and then they can start interpret with their own style. Anyways, if you'd like to become a professional artist and you want to know more about anything related to it, check out this video. I think it could be helpful for you.